My description of presence, and in different moments that I've experienced it, and I've experienced it for extended periods of time, especially under psychedelics, this is what it felt like. There's no room for anything other than the present moment. And what does that mean? Like, if you break that down further, your mind is no longer in the future. Your mind is no longer being tugged at the past. There is absolutely no room for anything else other than the present. And the present moment doesn't have anxiety, doesn't have negativity, doesn't have, oh, I need to go take my car to the repair shop. I need to go pay my bill. I need to go pick up my kid after this. There is none of that happening. There's no thought. There is just the feeling of the now. You hear what peace is. That's what you feel like. Presence is peace. I equate it to peace. There's just no other negative feeling that's like polluting your mind to like take you away from this peaceful feeling that you can feel. And it's a very intense, peaceful feeling, like none other.
Okay, so was a couple weeks ago, we had a great opportunity to have kind of like an intimate setting with just a few people with Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm.
Great, just a great man, spiritual guru.
Yeah.
I mean, the real guru.
Yeah.
And, we were listening to him and he was talking about presence. I believe there's like a presence day or something like that.
He's creating one.
Yeah, he's creating. So there's like, we were talking about presence and he said something really profound, and I ended up writing about it in a Substack article.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it multiple times, and it was the inspiration behind today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, the person who experiences great loss has access to a doorway into presence that the person who experiences great success may never find. So what does that mean to you when you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, it resonates deeply because I got to a point in my life where people may not know this, but I was suffering a lot for many, many, many years. And I was just good at covering it up. But, and I was like a high functioning person that was suffering a lot. And I got to a point where I was like, I can't go on like this. Like, something has to change. And I was at the mercy of my suffering. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to find a way. And if you get to a point, whether it's through addiction, death, divorce, some great loss, something that's afflicted you, that's caused that suffering, you will get to a point where there's an opening in you, an opening in life where you want to break free from that suffering. Now, that opening only comes when you're afflicted with that suffering. For you, I mean, we know your story, and for me, I had that opening. And so I went on a quest, a personal quest, a journey to relieve and release myself from that suffering, if there was a way to do so. So I went on a spiritual journey and I read many, many books. I learned about Buddhism. I learned about all kinds of things. And I found my way. So it's usually the people that suffer greatly that are afforded. It's such a gift to suffer. And I think that's like, people don't realize that, because I have family members who seemingly their life is wonderful. They've accomplished a lot, but their level of suffering isn't great enough for them to even want to explore this inner journey. And so if your life is seemingly great, there's no reason to look elsewhere, right? You're like, okay, it has its up and downs. My wife is whatever, my husband's whatever, my kids are whatever. And like, I'll just get on by, and I go to nice vacations, and there's no reason for me to look elsewhere. But if you are brought to your knees, that is a great opportunity to find a new way of being, a new existence.
Yeah. There's a lot there. The idea of, suffering being a gift, and suffering bringing you to the presence, because a lot of times when you're successful, you're accumulating a lot of success, you're constantly living in the future of the next thing,
Yeah, you're
because
chasing.
you've accomplished one thing, and so that success will lead to ideas for more, or you'll also be so caught up in that success that you'll miss the presence, the beauty of presence, right? And in striving to achieve and accomplish and obtain more, and you miss that. But when you are snatched from that and you don't have anything and you lose it all, and or if you experience extreme pain, then you have nowhere to go but the now.
Yeah.
And in that now is a really powerful place to be.
Yeah.
Right. And that I completely agree with. And it is exactly what I needed in my life.
Yeah.
To get to where I need to get. But also it's something that I have to continue to practice, because as success happens, we can easily forget to be present. And so the last time, my intention on my last retreat we did was to be more present.
Yeah.
Because I know that when I'm present, I'm at my best. I'm even breathing better. Everything just is better. But when I'm not, and I'm constantly thinking about the next thing on my calendar or the past or all these different things, then I start to feel different, even like anxiety, levels of anxiety. And it's like, and it's so obvious to me, but it's so difficult
to get there,
remain present. So what does one need to do to be more present?
Oh, where's Eckhart Tolle when you need him? To be present. So presence is a fleeting thing, right? It's not like we constantly stay in the present moment. And unless you're a monk sitting somewhere in Tibet, or it's very difficult. Life tugs at you. So how do I find presence? I have a few practices that I incorporate. So I know a lot of people practice mindfulness in their everyday, and I do that to a certain extent. But what really kind of grounds me is meditation. And I don't meditate for 5 minutes. I can meditate for 45 minutes to an hour, because first you're just letting your thoughts like run amok and let the monkey brain do its thing. But then as you kind of calm the mind and lower the volume on that, then you kind of find stillness. So that's helped a lot. But what's helped me in my meditative practice, and Sam Harris talks about this all the time, and I personally agree with it, is psychedelics. Psychedelics gave me a compass as to what direction I'm going. So, because if you meditate, you're like, what am I doing? What the hell am I doing? This is like, my thoughts are running rampant. This is frustrating. Like, what is the purpose of this? And the purpose of meditation is this non-dual state. And how do you achieve that? Well, the easiest way to hijack that and to kind of understand what that means, other than books, because it's very difficult. I read many books and I didn't quite understand what Eckhart Tolle meant until I did psychedelics. And psychedelics, I was like, oh, this is what non-dual state means. This is because there is no me observing. It's like you become one with everything. And that is a level of consciousness that exists. And if you meditate a lot, you've probably experienced it. But a fast track way to experience that is through psychedelics. So, and my psychedelics have anchored my meditative practice.
Yeah. And I feel there's so much evidence behind that, by the way, but I feel also like if you're in a place where you can't obtain psychedelics, or let's say you can't even afford to do these type of things because you're so poor and you're suffering, and you have you're in a prison cell in solitary confinement, but yet and still I was able to experience that presence. I was able to experience almost like a psychedelic state because I was so at peace. And it's such a profound feeling. It's hard to really explain what it is, but I was suffering, and then after I transcended the suffering, and I just found peace and presence in my existence, no matter where you're at. That was what grounded me.
Yeah.
For me, it took a lot. But for the average person that can't, that isn't in solitary, luckily, and that can't afford or doesn't even know where to start with that journey in terms of psychedelics, what can they do for the average person to start, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of it, there's so much literature now substantiating this, so it's not like we're off like totally woo. There's a lot of medical
Yeah, Navy
evidence.
SEALs are doing
Yeah,
it. Stanford
yeah,
doing a
there's so
study.
much.
Yeah.
But so I don't think psychedelics are literally like off the mark anymore. There's even, so you can go to Mexico. You can, I mean, a lot of people back in the day used to go to Peru, the Amazon, and experiences. And of course, that can incur some level of cost. But the actual experience, paying for a shaman, a facilitator who is experienced in this. And by the way, if you're going to practice psychedelics, don't take MDMA or mushrooms and like with music and then feel like set and setting is everything. There's a reason why shamans and like practice facilitators exist, because I know a lot of people who have like ingested psychedelics and they're like, I don't understand. It's like, well, set and setting matters. The intention, the feeling matters. How you approach it matters. And if you're like partying up, obviously the outcome is going to be very different, right? Because I could take MDMA in a different setting, different outcome. But going back to your point, there's many retreats out there now. You can Google, you can go to Costa Rica, Mexico, TJ, Rosarito, all kinds of places where you can take psychedelics. Because meditate, and then also you can start your meditative practice in conjunction with that. And if psychedelics is too far out there for you, which it might be, I get it. It's like, it's too hippie, it's too woo-woo. I would definitely practice with psychedelics. Or there's a lot of retreats now. I mean, there's silent retreats, there's darkness, there's dark rooms, there's all kinds of things that force you to tune out the external noise, because that's the whole point of all this. Take psychedelics, you meditate, you go in dark rooms. Why? What's the point of all this? To tune everything out so you can find stillness and now start looking inwards. And what you find there is extraordinary, but you need to kind of tune everything out. For you, it was solitary confinement, right? You were forced to do that. That's why it worked.
Yeah, and it comes in so many different ways. You can find that presence because I found it in solitary, and like you said, people pay to go to solitary now.
Yeah, they do.
There's dark rooms, there's psychedelics, but one way I feel like most people can do is I think you can find presence and start to feel into it in nature.
Oh,
Meaning
yeah,
like
that's
going on hikes, right? Go on a hike, disconnect from your phone, from everything, and just hike in nature and just walk. Because what happens is, at first, you're excited about where you're at, you're looking around, and then eventually after time goes by, then you start to go inward because you're moving through nature, but you're thinking now, and now you're starting to, these thoughts and these things are coming to you like a flood, and you're having to process them. So there's actually this program that I used to do with Navy SEALs, and we would go on it's like almost a 36-hour hike, no sleep. We literally would, the part of it was stay up.
Yeah.
And after a while, after 24 hours, you start to like, it's so powerful because you start to hallucinate, but you also you go inward.
Yeah.
And you're on this hike and it's late at night and it's dark and the Navy SEALs are leading you, and then you pause and then we do like integration and then we keep going. I wish they would do this again, by the way. if you foster warriors, if you're out there listening, please get it back going again. It's such a powerful program that I love.
Well, maybe we will.
Yeah, and so
maybe we'll do it.
That's when I realized, because I wasn't ever much of a hiker, but that's when I realized the importance, the power of that, like being to reach presence and to reach and to go inward through hiking for long periods of time.
Okay, but in all fairness, you struggle with nature up until very recently, right? So what if you're in our audience and you've been on a few hikes and you're just like, I ain't feeling this. This is not for me.
Then let's find something else.
Find something else,
right? Everybody's
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has different personalities, has different likings, has different.
Yeah.
We all see the world through our own lenses.
Yeah.
So we're all different. So find what works for you.
Yeah.
That'd be my advice.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not a one size fits all, like you said, but also don't give up. If something doesn't fit the first time, try it like once, maybe 6 months later, and see how you feel. Because all of it, I think a lot of it comes down to like your perception and how you're feeling internally at that time. I know people will describe the same city Like Mexico City, one person will love it, another person will hate it. And it's like, that's why I never ask people like, what's a good place to travel to, a hotel. I never ask, because it's like, it all comes down to what the person's experiencing internally will shape their overall experience, right? So I say give things a chance, right? At different stages in your life.
Yeah, agreed. I just want to say thank you for listening up to this point in the podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. If you're listening to this, please do me a favor and subscribe. It really helps us grow and continue to develop the podcast. So many of our viewers and listeners aren't subscribing. So I just wanted to put that message out there and say thank you for listening and continuing to support us. Now here we go back to the show. So Eckhart Tolle calls loss a doorway to presence, like I mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
What does actually stepping through that doorway look like, let's say on a random Tuesday when the pain still feels raw? So this loss that Eckhart Tolle is referencing, he calls that a doorway to presence.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that a little bit, and you know what that means, like suffering and loss and pain and how that produces presence. But what does actually like stepping through that doorway into the presence actually like feel like? What does it do when you're there? Can you explain that feeling of presence when you're there, when you're in that, you walk through the door, you're there now?
Yeah.
Right. What is that feeling?
Yeah. Yeah. So my description of presence, and in different moments that I've experienced it, and I've experienced it for quite long, like extended periods of time, especially under psychedelics. There is no, Dan helped me kind of like translate this into words too. So this is what it felt like. There's no room for anything other than the present moment. And what does that mean? Like if you break that down further, your mind is no longer in the future. Your mind is no longer being tugged at the past. There is absolutely no room for anything else other than the present. And the present moment doesn't have anxiety, doesn't have negativity, doesn't have, oh, I need to go take my car to the repair shop. I need to go pay my bill. I need to go pick up my kid after this. There is none of that happening. There's no thought. There's absolutely no thought. There is just the feeling of the now, and the feeling of the now can't be described other than these very positive feelings of like bliss, peace. What, like you hear what peace is, that's what you feel like. Presence is peace. I equate it to peace. Mm-hmm. There's just no other negative feeling that's like polluting your mind to like take you away from this peaceful feeling that you can feel. And it's a very intense, peaceful feeling, like none other.
Yeah. So how does one like function if they're always present, right? And this is probably a very, question.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if I'm present and I'm only focusing on the now, but, we have bills to pay, we have things to do, we have people to see, all this stuff. How do you function in consistent presence, but still think forward on things you got to do and reference the past for areas that you learn from?
Yeah. Unless you're like enlightened or you're like a spiritual master and you can reside in that and you're not really fully functioning in society, you can't be there most of the time. It's just not. And I've spoken to many people about that. You can't. But the point is to integrate those moments whenever you need them. It's kind of like a lifeline, right? Like if I'm talking to a client and I'm like, ooh, like I need to zen myself out for a second, right? Like I'm like, all right, how do I do that? It's like, try to find the present moment to kind of like just eclipse everything else that I'm feeling. So it's moments. It's not even extended minutes like within the day. Presence is very hard to like capture and hold on to unless you're on psychedelics or you're in a meditative state, right? And even then it's very difficult. So I don't think it's like being there all the time. It's just incorporating that into your everyday when you need it.
Yeah, like tapping into it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I've been practicing lately is when I'm doing 4 different big things. I'm doing
Yeah.
HTB consulting group, I'm doing Responder, I'm doing this podcast, and I'm doing P2P.
Yeah.
And so these are big projects that I work on. And so let's say I'm focused on the podcast, right? Whether it's preparation or planning or whatever.
Yeah.
In that moment, being present in the work I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? So not thinking about future or past, but in that moment. And then obviously getting out of that, then I have to like adjust and go to P2P. So now I'm shifting, but then I'm present there. And I was listening to this podcast this morning at the gym. This guy was like, he believes that because he was interviewing like CEOs and founders who are extremely busy, but they have families. And it's like, how do you raise a family like that? And he was like one of the founders who has like this huge company and only was able to spend like limited amount of time with his kid every week because he traveled and all that. He was like, it wasn't about the quantity of time, it was the quality.
Yeah.
He's like, when he was present with his kid, he was there.
Yeah.
Even if it was for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he said, in that his kid never forgot and they're very close. So it's like being very intentional and present in the moment and whatever you're doing. And then, you have to function with the rest of the world, but having the skill to tap back in is, I think, really powerful.
To your point, and I think it's a very, very powerful point that I kind of want to bring home and Eckhart Tolle actually spoke about this when we were on the Zoom with him. It was so beautiful, and it's very true that being present also is not just obtaining that moment, but also in whatever task you do, you give it everything of you, the 110%. So that CEO giving everything, being present, very present, not on your phone, not thinking about what you have to do as soon as you leave this moment with your child, but enjoying the moment, being there, listening, active listening, and giving everything, all your energy and intention to every task you do. That's being present. And actually being present is like a great way to success, because I feel like a lot of people who have their hands in a lot of things and are like not really giving it everything to everything that they touch, they're doing themselves a disservice. Like if you go from, me personally, this is my belief, if like you give everything to one task at hand, complete it, and then move on to the next, your quality of life also improves as a byproduct of that.
Yeah, agreed. Why do you think it's so easy for high achievers to confuse momentum and accomplishment with peace and awareness? So, for example, if, I'm building a business, right?
Yeah.
And I am accomplishing things and I got momentum and all the deals are coming through and sales and all this is happening. I'm getting all these opportunities and I'm like, I'm at peace. I'm aware, like my life's good. This is the best. Like, how am I confusing that with presence?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because some people could say, and it is Dan that kind of brought this to my awareness too. And because he works with highly successful people, high achievers, billionaires. And I've met many, many multimillionaires, and so I know the people. A lot of it is like, a lot of them are like, well, my life's great, so why do I need any help, or what do I need? I'm fine, right? But it's like almost like more difficult to heal those people than the average, right? Because they're high achiever, things are going right, they have all these accomplishments, and so that could be misconstrued for like, my life is peaceful. I mean, look at all I have and all I'm doing, but inside it's not like that. Or you could even see it. It's obvious that like you're limiting your life. You may have all this stuff, but you're limiting your experience, your love, and all these different things. And so the question is, like, why is it so easy for those people to confuse all those things with peace and awareness and presence?
It's a profound question, and I alluded this to earlier in the episode. So for people that encounter measurable success by markers defined by society, so I'm talking about degrees, accolades, money, obviously, zeros in your bank account, a good looking wife, a good looking husband, successful kids that are going to Ivy Leagues, all these markers that society kind of places, like marks for us. You're like, all right, everything's going seemingly well, and there's like a few bumps in the road, and like, but I'm cool. I've got this, right? Well, the counterpoint to that is, if something goes awry and shit hits the fan, which at some point in life it will, it always does. That's the nature of life, is to encounter pain and suffering. And if you haven't realized that yet, well, you should. So something will happen and it'll force you to come to a screeching halt. All of a sudden, you feel like you're free falling, right? And that feeling of free falling, you don't know what to do, anxiety, depression, take a grip of you. All of a sudden, your relationship isn't as great. Like, all of a sudden comes to the surface that your relationship with your wife isn't as strong as you thought, or the relationship with your kids isn't as good. I mean, on Instagram, it looks great. We're not talking about Instagrammable moments. If you peel the layers away, when everything comes, when shit hits the fan, it's like, what is the core feeling that you have? And if that feeling isn't peace and you don't know how to find that peace quickly, that's how you know you're confusing the two. You're convoluting the two. So the counter argument to that is, if I don't really have all these markers of success, right? I don't live in a big house with a white picket fence and a good looking wife with big boobs and all this stuff that people look for, right? But every day I'm enjoying my walks with my dog. I'm enjoying that my kid comes and gives me a hug, and I feel the hug. I truly feel it, like in the moment. I'm just not thinking about, oh, I have to go buy the groceries or something, right? All the things that we do and running through our heads. And I'm just enjoying the little things. When my husband comes and through the door, like seeing him smile, like I really appreciate and savor those moments. It's like these little things. Whether greatness comes into your life or something leaves, you're pretty anchored. You're a tree in the forest, right? So like if a storm comes, that's what I actually described this to my younger sister. That's how you know that you're on the right track and you have like a really core sense of peace and presence, is because in the midst of the storm where all these trees are waving back, you're pretty anchored, you're pretty solid, and you're not waving back and forth. So it's like those things of success are just masks for, they're not, in reality, it's not really being present. It's not really, there isn't really peace in those things. They're just like markers that society creates for, it's an illusion.
Yeah. And we've known people like that where we know them in a way that most people don't know them, meaning that we had encounters with certain people who are really suffering, and who are going through some tremendous pain behind closed doors, but they're putting on a front for the world, family, even their families, to see something different.
Yeah.
But when the vulnerability comes out and we're exposed to that, which we've had the opportunity to have because of the work we do and stuff, you realize like, wow, like you with this person that has it all on the outside, right? Has multiple homes, has this and that, like a marriage, kids, money's not an issue, even your fame or whatever. It's like this show, but deep inside, like when those doors close, you see extreme suffering. And that right there is like kind of it's the point of this, is that, what people are observing in people is not really who they are. Because
a lot of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. And it's because most people that are suffering and that are going through stuff, they are afraid to share it. They want to hide it. And so they market themselves to be their best. And that's all they show. And then people think that's an amazing life. I want that. I want to be like that. And they start comparing themselves to that person. But you don't know what that person or these people are going through. And so what I feel is that the individual, every person, just focus on, building your life the way that you can with the situations you have, the gifts you have, the means you have, the environment you grow up in. try to build the best life you could in your own world.
Yeah.
And know that your life can completely change in a few years. Like you could be somewhere completely different,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
you're starting differently. So I
Yeah.
feel like that with these people that are really, really successful, it's not always what you think it is.
Yeah.
And don't be fooled by that, because you don't know what's going on in that person's life. Or maybe they have an amazing life in real life and behind closed doors, but you don't know, and you're taking a chance on that
Yeah.
by trying to be something you're not. So be
Yeah.
yourself. Everybody else is taken,
Yeah.
is what the saying goes.
Yeah. And my last thoughts on this whole thing is that at the end of the day, pain and suffering, if you can truly view it as an opportunity and a gift, every difficult situation, every challenging situation that presents in your life over time, if you can ask, what's the opportunity for me? Like, how can I grow from this? What can I learn from this? And what's the gift? The gift usually comes in time. They say hindsight is 20/20. So the gift won't be revealed immediately, but what you can do to get through that pain, through that challenging time, is to look for the opportunity. And the gift usually comes in time, and you're like, many of us, it's like, wow, I really dodged a bullet there. Wow, I'm so glad I didn't get married to that person. Wow, I'm so glad I didn't do X, Y, and Z, right? So that the gifts usually come in time. But you always want to get to whether someone hurts you, causes you pain, or you have a loss of a parent or family member, whatever it is, there's always an opportunity for growth there. And if you could always say, thank you, Mr. So-and-so, or thank you, parent, for hurting me so much during my childhood, or thank you, brother, for like doing this to me and causing me so much pain because I became a better human being. That's where you want to get to. Then I think there's something remarkable. And that's where you want to get to, I think.
Yeah. Great.
Well, thank you, Carlos.
Thank you for the amazing conversation.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you for listening all the way up to the end of the episode. I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. First, Legendary Foods, for providing this space for us to record. They have great protein snacks. Check them out. Alchemy Spa, a place where you can go and get some health and wellness and self-recovery. And also Youth Champions, an amazing organization that supports kids in inner city, helping them get into college. So yeah, check them all out. I really appreciate all of you being here and supporting. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.